Hi, my name is Angelica, and this is the Angelica Unfiltered channel where I talk about health, wellness, weight loss, but mostly fat acceptance. I'm going to do a little update here, so if you want to skip to this part, this is where we'll be going into the reaction. If not, here's an update. I'm being copyright striked and gang stalked by Aubrey Gordon and other associates of Your Fat Friend. So on July 9th, I believe, I went to go click on my YouTube studio, as I do, because I like to stay updated and see what y'all are talking about in the comment section, and what would you know, I was hit with another copyright strike. And it was on the I Watched Your Fat Friend Aubrey Gordon documentary, So You Don't Have To. The first time it was given a strike by someone named Constance, and she was the production assistant. And of course I filed a counter appeal and I won because of copyright law and fair use law. So that video was put up on July 3rd, and then it was striked again on July 9th, but this time it was copyright striked by Jeannie Finley, who is the producer of the film. So I went ahead and filed my counter appeal the very millisecond after I saw that I received another strike, and I assume I will win this counter appeal as well because I already won it the first time from another associates of Your Fat Friend documentary, or I guess technically Glimmer Films. Glimmer Films is the company that produced the Your Fat Friend documentary, and I actually got a super fun email, or I should say super threatening, but also completely irrelevant email from Glimmer Films telling me all the illegal activity I did, which was completely invalid and not illegal, actually. I'll stop there because, you know, if this actually does go to court, I don't want any of this to be used against me, even though I did film an hour rant on July 9th. But I'm gonna keep that to myself because while I am Angelica Unfiltered, I quite frankly was Angelica unhinged off the rails in that video because I was just foaming at the mouth with anger. Speaking of being mad, so last night I sat my fat ass on the couch and was scrolling through Instagram stories because I had a lot to catch up on because I was driving around all goddamn day yesterday. Rosie Beam, she is a plus size influencer. She used to be a fat acceptance body positive creator, if you didn't know her. She was also in some fat acceptance drama last year. But she has a new account that focuses more on weight loss, and I'm mutuals with Rosie. And I've been following her since, I don't know, forever, I guess. And of course I'm going to support her weight loss journey, and I follow her like new weight loss account, and she posted a screenshot of a post that Jameela Jamil posted, which I think was originally on her story, but then she like did an in-grid post. So I thought we could go over that together because it's annoying. Fat acceptance annoys me. But you know what doesn't annoy me? Crystal jewelry, because I don't say anything annoying. I am wearing the centering smoky quartz necklace, and I have it paired with a simple labradorite necklace. This is a little prototype I'm working on. Then I've on some little labradorite earrings and some other sterling silver earrings in my other holes. If you're interested in those, I'll have them all linked down below. I did a little fun code for the anniversary of me being canceled and deemed dead by the fat acceptance community, so you can use code DEAD to save 30% off Rebirth Jewelry, my small business, if you're interested. And then I have on this dirty hippie shirt from a small business called The House of Gentry, if you're interested. I'll have that linked down below as well. I have a discount code with them too. Jameela Jamil. I'm gonna read this all in full, and then I'm gonna break down kind of like line by line, because boy do I got a lot to say. Gah. The amount of formerly body positive safe space content creators who are now going full diet culture before and after ED propaganda ... is meaning I'm having to unfollow a lot of people because it's bringing up bad feelings in my brain, and frankly life is hard enough. So I'm gonna follow more dog content, and remember, you can do the same. We don't have to see this stuff. It's okay to let go of those who have chosen obedience and clicks over our collective sanity. Protect your algorithm. And if you think I'm unhinged and crazy, just really just read the things that people in the fat acceptance community say, because, you know, I'm starting to sound more rational as the days go on. So let's backtrack. If you don't know who Jameela Jamil is, I feel like she's kind of like a little bit of a side character in the fat acceptance, body positive sphere. I guess more body positive, but, you know, they kind of like coexist, mingle. You know, like when there's like a saltwater sea and a freshwater sea, and they're like this, and they meet together, but like they're separate, but like the waves go together. That's what fat acceptance and body positivity is. So it's like they're separate, but they merge together often, and there is a clear divide, but they still mush together, if that makes any sense. It does in my brain, and that's all that matters. So Jameela Jamil is actually an actress. I don't know if she actually does acting anymore. I know she was in The Bad Place. Is that what it's called? The Good Place. The Good Place. Let me look it up. Let me see what else she's done, because that's all I know her for. I think she's dating the singer from Vampire Weekend too. Shut the hell up. Jameela Jamil, English actress and activist. Shut up. Yeah, so she was in The Good Place, Love at First Sight. I guess she was in She-Hulk. I didn't watch that movie, so I didn't know. Oh, Elio. I don't know what that is. Love at First Sight, Legendary, The Misery Index, Poker Face. I guess she's been in a lot of things, I guess, but just nothing that I've known of. But in my humble opinion, well, I guess she has been in a lot of different movies, TV shows and stuff. I know her mostly because of like her association with the fat acceptance body positive community. She has like some sort of stupid hashtag like Tess Holliday does. You know how Tess Holliday has fuck your beauty standards or F your beauty standards? She has something like that. So she has a podcast and it's called Move Your Mind. Hashtag Move Your Mind. But it used to be called I Weigh. The little bio for I Weigh is a community celebrating radical inclusivity and authentic conversations around mental health. Join us for our next chapter, and then it's called Move Your Mind. So the I Weigh stuff used to talk about like, instead of like, I weigh 200 pounds. I weigh, you know, like the actual weight of someone's, like they would talk about like, I weigh kindness. I weigh creativity. Like basically instead of saying I am, it was like I weigh, to kind of like take the importance off what someone looks like or like what someone's weight is and emphasize other characteristics that people have, which I guess is like kind of nice in theory, but it's like I don't go up to someone and is like, hi, I'm Angelica and I weigh 200 pounds. People can just physically see that with their eyes. I used to listen to the I Weigh podcast. I haven't in a couple years, and I have never listened to the hashtag Move Your Mind podcast, but a lot of it does center around body positivity, fat acceptance stuff, diet culture, blah, 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 you know, everything else that everyone else talks about. Nothing new or groundbreaking. Not saying that anything I do is new and groundbreaking. I talk about the same shit in almost every single video. Jameela Jamil has like a passion around mental health and, you know, eating problems, if you will. You know, we have to work around what we say here so we don't get in trouble. But she's someone that has struggled with restriction in the past. And in my opinion, there are two types of people that are in body positivity, fat acceptance, and no other types of people, okay? The two types of people that are in the fat acceptance community are people on the smaller side of the spectrum. And most of these people are in recovery of some sort of restrictive ed. We have to censor ourselves here. And most of the time they are physically recovered from their ed, so they are a healthy weight, but sometimes they still have the unhealthy mental behaviors of, you know, restricting ed. But also sometimes people are fully recovered. And I feel like a lot of these people pander to obese people. So Jameela Jamil falls in this category, as well as health at every size dietitians. I'm thinking, what's that one, Abby, that one, she's like super famous. That brown-haired one that I did a video on last year, Christy Harrison, I know she's like really not that famous right now, but that's who got me into fat acceptance. You know, people that have recovered from restriction, people that believe in health at every size, no food is a bad food, but they're still a healthy normal weight and have been a healthy normal weight or have been underweight. And then that's the one category in fat acceptance, body positivity. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you know, here's the underweight, and now we have the overweight people. The overweight, the obese people in the fat acceptance, body positive community. Most of them, you know, myself included, don't be all fucking pissy about this. It's not that deep. If people on the fat acceptance community want to talk about being fat, I'm going to talk about them being fat, okay? So the people on the larger side of the spectrum of the fat acceptance community, most of the time they have been fat their entire life, or they were a healthy weight most of their life until like adulthood. These people obviously struggle with some sort of disordered eating. It doesn't have to be hinge, Ed. The censoring, I literally can't. Like, if you're watching this and English is your second language, you're probably like, what the hell is this lady talking about? If you're on the heavier side, you're obviously eating too much. That's why you're fat, okay? Myself included. These people, obviously they're overeating. Not all of them have to have a full-blown ED, but most likely have some sort of unhealthy behaviors. Most of them believe the same things. They believe in health at every size. They believe it's okay to be fat. They believe if you lose weight, it is toxic, even if it is for health problems. You know, just like typical fat acceptance things. And those are the only two people that are in the fat acceptance community. Because if you are in the fat acceptance community and you lose weight and you get healthier habits, guess what? You leave the fucking fat acceptance community because you know all this is a bunch of baloney. In my personal opinion, don't really think that there are too many mentally stable people in the fat acceptance community or the body positive community, because the topics at hand make someone become obsessive about what they look like, what they're eating, what society thinks of them, what other people think of them. And, you know, if you're a fucking normal, not chronically online human being, then you're not going to know any of this exists, and you touch grass and don't think about your body every waking second like people that struggle with eating and body image issue problems. So now that we have discussed a little bit about who Jameela Jamil is and the people that are in the fat acceptance community, you have thin people or normal weight people that used to restrict. And then you also have super fat people that overeat. Those are the only two categories in the fat acceptance community. Says who? Me. Because I made the observation and I'm very good at pattern recognition. So let's go through Jameela Jamil's post again. The amount of formerly body positive / safe space content creators who are now going full diet culture before and after photos. ED propaganda, ... So I think that one thing that kind of pisses me off, or I feel like is very misleading, is that people act like when someone who used to be body positive, you know, let's assume that they're fat or they're overweight, because most of the time that's the people that are in the fat acceptance community. The thin, normal weight people in the fat acceptance community, I think, are maybe take up less than 15% of the people in the body positive fat acceptance community. So we're going to generalize here. So when Jameela Jamil makes this post, in my head, it is targeted to like fat people or like chubby people or overweight people. So when most people are body positive or in the fat acceptance community, while they do talk a lot about that stuff, if you want to be a successful creator, that's just one part of your niche. You know, a lot of people in the fat acceptance body positive sphere, while they still obviously talk about that stuff, they still have to talk about fashion or makeup, because I guess technically you probably can make some amount of money off of like body positivity or fat acceptance. There is limited ways to make money. Like, of course you could do TikTok videos where you're talking, but I don't think that's gonna like garner attention all the time unless it's like a super crazy outrage rant. So most body positive creators are usually mostly plus size women, and they will talk about fashion, plus size fashion, makeup, skincare, you know, lifestyle stuff, because those women have bills to pay and a roof to keep over our head. So when those plus size content creators decide to lose weight, and this is from my experience of being on social media and whatever I see on my grid, a majority of the people that start a weight loss journey while being a plus size content creator, usually fashion, they either rarely talk about it or they make a separate account about it, because if being an influencer is their career, they are going to make posts that make them money, and talking about their weight isn't really going to make them money because they're not showing you a product to buy or recommending like a skincare product or something. And most people that talk about weight loss all the time in their videos, like every single post, are people that have dedicated their whole account to, you know, weight loss journeys or recipes and stuff like that, which I think is totally valid. I follow a lot of accounts that just talk about weight loss, which I like, but I also still follow people that are losing weight but don't talk about it that often. The person I think 𝓁𝒃𝓁𝑔, I don't know what her last name is, 𝓁𝒃𝓁𝑔 something is a really good example about that. 𝓁𝒃𝓁𝓾. She's someone that's body positive but has lost a lot of weight over the years. There's this other lady I'm thinking about. I almost wish I had Neuralink or something, or there was like, my phone knows me so well already because it's listening to me. I wish if I just thought of an influencer, like, because I'm visualizing this woman in my head, I just don't know her name, Instagram would just find it for me. Or pull it up for me. Okay, it took me like way too fucking long to find. Her name is 𝒻𝒻𝒾𝓁𝒾𝓃𝑔? But she's an example of someone that has like lost weight recently over like the last couple of years. I do believe that she is or was on a GLP-1, and she has talked about her problems with the fat acceptance body positive community in the past. But it's like, the people or the content creators that have decided to lose weight, a majority of them aren't going from being like a general life size, plus size, body positive creator into a full-fledged weight loss. Like, weight loss may be a part of their content, but it's not going to just drastically flip. And I'm sorry, it's like, if you cannot handle seeing before and after photos, that's a you problem. That is not something that needs to be pushed on to all of society. And most of the time it's losing weight. Obviously, we have an obesity epidemic, not an under-eating epidemic here in America. If someone wants to show off how much weight that they have lost, they have the fucking right to do so. And don't get me wrong, you also have the right to be annoying and leave something petty or stupid in the comment section, and you also have the right to unfollow that person. But I just think that considering those a part of diet culture is very inaccurate, because to me diet culture is something very gimmicky, or like a miracle product, or like doing a juice cleanse for 10 days straight to get all the toxins out of your body. Something that isn't sustainable. When most of the time losing weight, people are trying to create a whole different lifestyle, or diet culture is like how to drop 15 pounds before you go to the beach next week. Like, it's just something very extreme, and most of the time based on appearance or bloating. And don't get me wrong, obviously losing weight is about weight as well, but it's more holistically. And just to bundle together losing weight and diet culture, I think really does a disservice to everyone in the community, because obviously there's things that overlap, but I do think that they are drastically two separate things. Obviously I don't know what Jameela Jamil considers ed propaganda, but you have to understand like who is talking when giving this advice, or actually listen to what they're saying and how to apply it. Because, you know, when a thin person that is struggling with restricting and is not eating as much as they should be, them giving advice on how to lose weight obviously is toxic, because that is something that they're struggling with and is unhealthy. But if a healthy weight person or if an overweight person is sharing how they lost weight and what they did to lose weight, or, you know, like what their favorite foods are to lose weight, that's normal. That's healthy. It just depends on the audience and who is saying that. And that's why I feel like a lot of these health at every size, you know, dietitians and doctors, like what they're saying necessarily isn't wrong in a sense, but they are pandering to fat people, obese people, people in the fat acceptance community. So it's just continuing to harm those people that are obviously already struggling, even though it would be good advice to people that's restricting. A Hayes dietitian, you know, Abby, whatever the fuck her name is, saying, you know, there is no good and bad food. That would be good for someone that's severely underweight to hear, because usually a lot of the time they have certain thoughts about what they should eat or what shouldn't they eat, because if it's gonna make them increase in the lbs. But when a fat person or someone that tends to overeat hears that, then they think, well, since there is no good and bad food, I guess I'm gonna have 1,700 calories of a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and a muffin for breakfast instead of following my diet plan and having an egg white spinach feta omelet for breakfast. The context, guys. Don't forget about the fucking context. I feel like that's just something that's completely lacking in these spaces and communities online. So if a fat person is talking about how they've left the fat acceptance community and, you know, have built healthier habits, I don't see that as ed culture or ed propaganda. That's someone that's literally bettering their life. And this is my assumption, assuming makes an ass out of me and you, but if we're gonna assume that most people in the fat acceptance community or body positive community are overweight or obese, she is continuing to nail into people's head that any sort of weight loss is toxic and unhealthy, when in reality, most of the time it's not. I mean, losing weight can be done in an unhealthy way, but obese people should lose weight because being overweight is bad for just about 4 million different reasons. She says, before and after photos, ad propaganda is meaning I'm having to unfollow a lot of people. You know, she has the right to unfollow people. You have the right to unfollow people as well. But I feel like she's just like building all this stuff up into her head, so it's becoming such a bigger issue than it needs to be. Or it just shows that maybe she's not in a healthy mindset. You know what I mean? Like, because when you don't struggle with something, you aren't affected or triggered by it. You know what I mean? Like now in this day and age, if I see a before and after photo, I'm like, hell yeah, like I'm excited for that person, but that also it gets me inspired to continue my weight loss journey or my shrinking journey. Let me fucking censor myself on this app so I don't get in trouble. My shrinking journey. The next time you guys see me, I'm gonna be a little shrinking head. You're not even gonna be able to see my body. Just a little shrunken head on screen. But, you know, with my dog dying in March, it's a little over 4 months since that happened. You know, if I see a white crusty dog video on Instagram, yeah, that's gonna fucking make me cry, and I avoid looking at white crusty dogs on Instagram because it reminds me of him. Because obviously there is something that makes me emotional about seeing those things. Because it's bringing up bad feelings in my brain. Okay, so she's going to actually admit that she still struggles with all of these unhealthy, let's say, ed behaviors, thoughts, mindsets. Which, I mean, good for her. Like, I suggest you and everyone else to unfollow people or content that makes you upset or is causing some sort of burden on your life. And frankly, life is hard enough. True that. So I'm gonna follow more dog content, and remember, you can do the same. And of course, because we have the freedom to follow whoever we want on social media. Next line says, we don't have to see this stuff, of course, because it's our own social medias. We can do whatever we want on these platforms. It's okay to let go of those have chosen, alright, this is the line that really fucking gets me. It's okay to let go of those who have chosen obedience and clicks over our collective sanity. Newsflash. People can do whatever the flying fuck that they want. See, the thing is, When you're in the fat acceptance body positive sphere, you have to walk on eggshells because you do not want to upset anyone. And believe me, it is like walking in a battlefield, waiting for a mine to explode when you're in the fat acceptance community, because just one thing can set a million people off for no reason. I actually despise when people bring politics, the patriarchy, racism, whatever, into body politics, body positivity, fat acceptance, whatever. Like, literally just shut up. Like, you sound so fucking stupid right now. Okay, we're assuming that the people in the fat acceptance community, or the people that are losing weight, they're all fucking obese and they're trying to lose weight to be healthy. Calling that obedience. Like, you're obviously not fucking mentally well, because they are just trying to better themselves. And it's always people that are thin. I don't think Jameela Jamil has ever been fat in her life, because most of the time she's always talked about struggling with being underweight from restricting. And now she's still probably underweight or on the very low healthy side of weight, because she's in Hollywood, she's beautiful, she looks perfect, and people in Hollywood aren't like normal plebs like us. Thin people, or people that have struggled with restricting, they have usually always been underweight or a normal healthy weight their entire life, and they do not know what it's like to struggle with being fat and being overweight. They don't know what it's like to be the fat kid. They don't know what it's like to go to a sleepover and not be able to fit into your friend's fucking clothes because you're like 3 sizes larger than them. Or they don't know what it's like to shop for a homecoming dress in the old hag women's section because they can't fit in the junior section. Or they don't know what it's like to have food noise and literally think about eating from the second that they wake up to the second that they go to sleep. Finding happiness in food, you know, or just being in pain from overeating, or not being able to wear the same clothes as your friends because, you know, you're young and everyone shops at fucking Free People in Brandy Melville and everything is a size 00, you know what I mean? Like, and that is just like the surface value stuff. Not even getting into all the health problems of being overweight. Being obese is technically a disease. Obesity is a disease. And being obese leads to so many different diseases and disorders. And yes, I know skinny people can also get those disorders, but you're most likely to get them because when you're fucking fat, okay? That's just quite frankly the truth. These healthy weight, underweight people, they don't know what it's like to get type 2 diabetes or non-alcoholic fatty liver or get your gallbladder out, so now every time you eat something a little bit greasy, you shit your pants. No, I don't have personal experience, but a lot of my family members do, and I have been in the car when they have shat their pants. When they have shat themselves. Or they don't know what it's like to go on extreme diets, or have to get weight loss surgery, or have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars in medications. Whether that just be regular medications, or for high blood pressure, or some GLP-1s, or they don't know what it's like to, I know thin people can have sleep apnea too, but they don't know what it's like to have fucking sleep apnea. They don't know what it's like to be fucking winded going up a flight of stairs. They don't know what it's like to be gasping for breath between words. They don't know what it feels like to not be able to breathe correctly. They don't know what it's like to have their heart pounding out their chest just from doing a sit-up or getting off the couch. They don't know what it's like to have knee pain at 21 because there is so much fucking pressure on your joints. Like, and then to say that losing weight is to become obedient. It is to fit into the patriarchy. Obviously, looks are important and a lot of people lose weight because they want to look better and feel better, but it's like most people aren't losing weight for those things. But for some reason, people just like to assume that. Most of the time, people, again, we're gonna assume women, because most of the people in the fat acceptance community are obese women. Most obese women lose weight a majority of the time because they're already having some sort of health issue. A lot of the times PCOS and insulin resistance, and you know, there's a fucking ginormous list of other health reasons. A lot of it is for health reasons or just wanting to be healthier for the future, but also simultaneously because they want to feel better and they would like to feel confident about themselves, because more than likely most of them have been obese their entire life. I probably have not been a normal healthy weight since I was probably, I don't know, fucking 3 years old. I'm still technically obese now. I'm like 200 pounds flat, and I have to lose another 25 pounds just to become just overweight. Like, to equate someone's lifelong struggle to wanting to fit in and be a part of the patriarchy, I think is like literally just honestly sexist and misogynistic. Because it's like, I mean, I know I'm harsh on women, but it's like, why do you think so fucking poorly of these women, of these fat women that have experienced so much hardship because of their weight? Oh, they're fucking mindless sheep because they want to lose weight. Well, guess what? You're fucking sheep too, because you're a healthy weight then. You're fucking sheep, you're in Hollywood. You're fucking sheep, you're literally perfect, beautiful, flawless. What does that make you? Like, Jameela Jamil fits all of the molds of beauty standards. So why do you have any sort of criticism for women for wanting to lose weight and better themselves? And guess what? Maybe also look better. Who are you to judge? Like, it just pisses me off to no end. And to be like, it's okay to let those who have chosen obedience in clicks. Again, most people that are plus size influencers, whether that be clothes or general lifestyle, they're not doing it for clicks, baby. Because guess what? When those plus size content creators decide to lose weight, people unfollow them. They're losing money because they have decided to lose weight. It's actually a bad business decision for plus size influencers to lose weight because it pisses off a lot of their fat audience. We don't need to worry about how the whole world is going to feel about something that we do, because first of all, you're never gonna win anyway. Never gonna win, because there's always gonna be someone that doesn't like your tone, doesn't like the way that you said something, you know, or didn't like the way that you decided to lose weight. You know, like there's always just gonna be something that someone doesn't like. And to prioritize the collective over oneself does not make you selfless. It makes you a fucking coward. Because for the longest time when I was in the fat acceptance community, I did not want to lose weight because I was terrified that everyone would hate me. And guess what? I was right for a little bit, because I received so much hate when I decided to lose weight. And guess what? I lost weight and I found a great community because of it. And if I didn't actually prioritize myself and my health, I wouldn't be in a better position than I am today. Protect your algorithm. Yeah. Continue to feed your algorithm with delusional, self-righteous posts so you do not have to critically think about what you're doing to yourself and your audience. Do not follow anyone that challenges your values. Do not follow anyone that you disagree with. Do not try to open your mind to different points of view. Please stay in your bubble. That is how you grow. That is great advice. Stay compliant. All right, let's read this caption that she posts. I just opened the caption and it says, it links a bunch of people and it says, and of course your fat friend is there. Caption says, change your body. Do what you like. We know what that means, right? You can do whatever you want with your body. I don't care what you do about it. Yeah, you do. You fucking do. That's why you have to unfollow them, because you're triggered. Because if you don't care, then just scroll by. Change your body. Do what you like, but don't perpetuate the culture that you rose to prominence trying to take down. Most people aren't trying to tear down the body positive fat acceptance community, besides us people on YouTube. Most people just literally want to fucking lose weight so they don't have to suffer the rest of their existence. This is not directed at any singular person, even though I did have to follow a handful of people that made me upset. It is a widespread shift we are seeing everywhere, and it's depressing. No, it's just like kind of like a global awakening that people are realizing, wow, 77% of Americans are overweight, 44% of them being obese. We should probably do something about this. We should probably better ourselves because, you know, we only get this one meat sack. I don't know if you guys knew this. We only get this one life on this earth, whether you wanted to be here or not. Most of us, I don't think, asked to be born here. Why not just try to make this life as less painful as possible? Of course, life has hardship. You know, some people say that the purpose of life is to have the human experience, but not all of it has to be riddled in misery. If you are so fat you cannot walk and you want to lose weight, I am there supporting you 1000%. If you are slightly overweight but you are still having problems with PCOS or joint pain and you need to lose weight to better that, I am with you. I support you. But so many people online, it's usually online, because if you lose weight in real life, like, people congratulate you, but for some reason all these basement dwellers have such a laundry list of issues when it comes to weight loss. And then she tags 7 people. Name your favorite content creators who provide a safe space on here for you. Let's lift up the last people left in the Let's lift up the last people left in the resistance movement. The only resistance in this movement is insulin resistance. When I hear shit like this, like, I literally think it's fucking comical. Being a part of the fat acceptance movement isn't a form of resistance. You are not fighting against a cause. You are making people sicker. You know, like, you're not screwing over the man by being obese. Like, I remember seeing in someone's comment section, they're like, fuck the patriarchy, get a fat roll. Like, police. This country and the major corporations that basically run this country, America, I'll speak for this country. I don't know what you got going on in the fucking UK. The USA wants people to be fat. Because fat people are great consumers. Pun intended, but also not. Because fat people, even though fat people pretend to eat fucking sweet green and egg whites for every single meal, they're not. Fat people eat sugary foods and participate in the sugar industry. They also eat a lot of fast food. They also eat a lot of junk food. And when those fat people go drive around, because quite frankly, they're not walking around, they are using more gas, because when cars are heavier, they have to use more fuel to go. Because you're fat and eating more, you're spending a lot of money. And guess what? When you're fat, you become diseased and you become sick. So then you go to the doctor or the ER if something really horrible happens. And what do you get there? You get a bunch of fucking pills. And don't get me wrong, I'm on a bunch of pills because my brain is not wired correctly, thanks to a lot of childhood trauma I've received. They spend a bunch of money on food, on going to the doctor, and medications. And that's why this country wants you to be fat, so they can profit off of all of your obesity, all of your problems and lifestyle habits. Because when you're thin, you're most likely making all your food at home. Obviously, thin people and healthy weight people still go out to eat every once in a while, but not 5, 6, 7 times a week like a fat person. And then they're probably eating more whole foods, so they're not giving money to junk food corporations like Lay's, General Mills, the list goes on and on and on. And obviously those thin people probably drive cars too, but they use a little bit less gas since they're not weighing down their automobile. And then they go to the gym maybe, so big corporations could profit off that, you know, if they go to LA Fitness or Planet Fitness, whatever. But it's like they're not contributing as much to the food industries and other industries that rely on hyper overconsumption. Usually we're being very generalized here. You know, thin people, healthy weight people with healthy habits, most likely don't have to go to the doctor all the time, and they're most likely not on a handful of medications. So they're not making all these major corporations money. There is a reason why 77% of the country is overweight. And you are not some sort of rebel because you're obese and refuse to lose weight. You are a rebel if you decide to lose weight and eat whole foods. You're a rebel if you don't fall for over-consuming, whether that be food or just the stupid trends that come out every fucking 3 minutes, whether that's makeup, clothing, interior design, little plushies, you know what I mean? Like, you are a rebel if you save your money and invest in your future. Because this country, the United States of America, wants people tired, lazy, sick, and fat. Because people that are healthy, with energy, that have drive and motivation, they're going to do more in life than just the average American who is very compliant. You know, I really thought this video would kind of be like a short one, but I guess I haven't filmed a video in like 2 weeks, so got a little bit more diarrhea mouth than usual. Alright, I think this is enough for this video. Let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down below. I would love to kiki with y'all in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video. And if you enjoy me, consider subscribing. I would love to see you back here again. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Peace.